Yo, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to episode 2 of Sports4U Wrestling Podcast. I go by the name of Trail. That's my guy, John. How we doing today, man? What's good? What's goody?
Feeling better, man. Feeling better. I was a little bummed out last night, but I'm in better spirit. I'm in better spirits right now. The way the night is starting. The way the night is starting. I'm in good spirits. How you feeling, my brother?
Oh, same here. We got a lead of our own, and got like an inning and a half left. So hopefully, we don't blow this pause and take it back to the NY up 2-1. You know what I'm saying?
Take it back to the Bronx.
Yes,
So
sir. So once again, everyone, welcome to the show. Man, what we got lined up today is obviously the Bad Blood pay-per-view recap. If you checked out the watch along on Saturday, you already know how it was. The pay-per-view itself was lit live from Atlanta, Georgia, the ATL. Man, I'm ready to get into this pay-per-view because it's a lot to go over. And man, I got some checks coming my way from Paul Levesque. I tell you that much because I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. God damn it! I said I knew it.
yeah, you definitely got some checks coming. You definitely got some checks coming your way. Shout out to my boy Cody from Ballers and Briefs Fantasy Sports Podcast in the building. What up, Cody?
What's good? What's good? So let's kick this off, man, with the with what should have been, what arguably to many other people should have been the main event, but it kicked off the show. I thought was a good idea. The Hell in the Cell match with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, a hellacious feud that began at the Royal Rumble uh, and bled all the way to October to Bad Blood. A feud so huge, pause, that it needed an ending, it needed a finale, it needed a climatic finale. And man, did they not deliver in this Hell in a Cell match?
It was a great match. I mean, my God, this match had it all. I mean, blood. You had chairs. You had tables. You had beads. You had everything that made this rivalry what it was from since CM Punk's been back, and ever since him and Drew McIntyre clearly crossed paths, and then obviously what happened in the Rumble with Punk getting injured and being on the shelf for 6 months, and it was all worth it. They put on a banger. Obviously, when we think of Bad Blood, obviously the first thing that come to mind is Shawn Michaels Undertaker, the inaugural Hell in a Cell match, which happened October 5th, 1997. But it was just a great match to watch, and I was rooting for Punk and him and McIntyre. Obviously, they're pretty bruised up right now, and but it was well worth the watch. And I guarantee they didn't feel good Sunday morning, but they they'll never forget this match for the rest of their careers. And if they ever cross paths again, we will always have this to go back to in the archives.
Man, seriously, because I think this match alone should set Drew McIntyre up for at least Superstar of the Year.
Mm,
Because the man has put on bangers for the past since the pandemic. Basically, when he was the pandemic champion, when he's been that guy that outside of Roman, when the company needs someone to fill that role, whether it's a heel or a face, you had Drew McIntyre. So this is the best match he's had all year. And for Punk, I feel like this is the best match Punk has put on in years. Second, like it's better than his dog collar match with MJF and AEW, and that match was awesome.
oh
So
yes.
for him to top that at Hell in the Cell for what they did, man, that like hats off to him. They deserve the rest of the year off because if I'm not mistaken, the Royal Rumble is coming up in January, and I have a feeling we're not going to see CM Punk until January.
Yeah, we're not going to see Punk for a while. We're not going to see Drew for a while. Obviously, that has already been reported. He's not going to be at Crown Jewel. It was bigs up for him to making the bus trip. up to St. Louis last night to watch NXT in at the factory, and
Yeah,
he is well deserved. Both of these men have put in the work and put in work in this rivalry, and they now can go recuperate. Y'all seen the videos of Drew McIntyre, how gruesome they were. It's real,
16
real
stitches.
stuff. It's real stuff, and
Yeah, man.
I'm proud that these two men, they was professional enough to put on such a epic and iconic match for us fans, us members of the WWE universe, and I enjoyed every bit of it, and I can't wait to see what's next for both of these men, obviously individually, specifically CM Punk.
Yeah, it was it gave me a little nostalgia because man, it was a different slow pace Hell in a Cell match that I'm accustomed to. It was methodical. When they said they was gonna beat each other down till they damn near killed each other, they were not lying. I
Mm-mm.
mean, from pillar to post, from ring steps to toolkits to wrenches, it was that chair shot. I mean, not chair shot. That shot that Drew McIntyre took to the head with that toolbox unprotected is like, good lord. I haven't seen a man bleed like that literally since Shawn Michaels in Hell in a Cell back in the day,
I
27
agree.
years ago. So it was a whole lot of throwbacks, a whole lot of nostalgia. And I don't know if Abyss knew this when he planned it, but that sharpshooter spot reminded me of Stone Cold versus Bret Hart at WrestleMania 13.
Oh, absolutely. Because you think about it, the blood dripping down Austin's face, and you got the blood dripping down both of these guys' faces
Uh,
um, on Saturday, and obviously Drew, he would. There was no way he was gonna. If he was gonna go out, he was gonna go out his way. He wasn't gonna tap out and let it be seen tapping out the CM Punk. I just, man, I'm really like, man. If obviously I haven't, I know they've dropped the video, the music video for it today on the WWE YouTube. I haven't got a chance to watch it yet. I will go watch it because, man, that was just a good way to just start off a show. I was talking about when we did the preview last week with Dale, and I said, obviously I compared it as a Dodgers fan to watching Otani. You got, he could bat first, he could bat second, he could bat third. You could put that match anywhere on the card, and it was going to be a banger. For that to be the lead off, out the park, out the
yeah,
park.
yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned the music video because something like that we haven't seen in years.
Right.
Like a music video solely for one match and one match alone. I mean, the one thing I can think of is the legendary Limp Bizkit with Stone Cold and The Rock.
Right.
Well, both of them, but the one I liked the most was 17. Um, that alone was that shit had you hyped. So I can only imagine how that went. And to Baller's point, that suplex off the top rope through the table, that was a dope spot. I enjoyed that because I'm like, holy crap, what they I forgot the tape was there. So I literally thought he was gonna suplex a man on the floor. And the fact that I'm so used to these Hell in a Cell matches somehow leading to outside the cage, outside
Mm-hmm.
the cell,
Right.
or maybe a rare occasion to the top. The fact that they did all this damage inside the cell, no interference, no BS. It was just straight. I'm willing to die to beat
Mm-hmm.
you, and they lived up to all the hype to the point that CM Punk had trouble walking out of that cell to the back. So whether it's real or not, I feel like he sold the hell out of it. Because man, at his age, I wouldn't doubt if that was real that he had trouble. Because man, the dude went wire to wire, and that was a banger of a match. Damn near a 5-star Hell in a Cell match in a long time.
Yeah, I'm very. It was a banger match. We have, obviously, we think about recent Hell in a Cell, Cody and stuff being the most recent one, where it had us having all types of feelings, especially the way with Cody basically wrestling the whole match with a torn pec.
Yeah.
It was great. I was great, man, and it was just happy to see Punk in a match where obviously I remember him being he's been in a few of these, but this obviously was one that obviously took the cake, man, and
yeah.
I'm glad I was able to witness it, and whoever is in the next Hell in a Cell match. I mean, I don't know who he's going to be. You never know what Triple H has up his sleeve, what creative have up their sleeve. But yeah, that's a hard act to follow. It's a hard act to follow.
I mean, if I'm Triple H, it'll be a while, and I mean a while, before I see another Hell in a Cell match.
Agreed.
Because
Agreed.
the way they booked this feud, that's how it's got to be. It has to be to the boiling point of, all right, I got to get rid of you. This has gone on long enough. And they got other matches they could do this. They got, a Buried Alive match. They can bring that back one day. Or, a steel cage. And give us a good steel cage match. Or because their bull rope match was good. But this here is like, you have to have that rivalry that no matter what, I'm going to beat the dog shit out of you. And this is one of those matches where it's like, it gave me that feel again. That's like, oh man, they need business. This is it. This is gonna be war. So
it was a straight war. It was a straight war. Everything about it it was a battle. It was personal, and it was all out, and they just left it all out there.
Yeah, Tig, you're not seeing things, Tig. The locker room. I told John this multiple times for at least a year. The locker room morale is at an all-time high. Everyone's having fun in the back. If you notice, Michael Cole is having the time of his life.
Oh yeah,
like we haven't seen him this giddy and this happy. I think since maybe back in his younger days when he's like, trying not to get fired and do a good job. Right. This is like, you don't have Triple H constantly screaming in his ear, telling him to say this, telling him to that. He's literally out there like a new lease on life. The locker room, like I said, is at an all-time high in morale. Like they put it this way, Tig, these superstars are doing TikToks in the back. They're doing TikToks. TikTok has been a while. TikTok has been out for a while now, for a few years now, and every time I look on my social media, you got Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax doing TikToks. You got R-Truth doing TikToks. You got The Miz doing TikToks. It's like Cody Rhodes doing TikToks. It's like they're everywhere. Like GB Uso, like Samantha, all the reporters, they're doing social media and stuff. So yeah, it's fun. They're making wrestling fun again to the point that you even got Randy Orton just laid back, just happy to be there. Like, so it's a good time in that company, man. Despite everything else that people may say or things that's going on, it's going good right now.
I agree.
Shout out to moms. Hi, moms.
Oh, who that?
That was true.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. You made an appearance, so I was like, hey, moms.
Yeah, I didn't want y'all to see me. I didn't know you could see me. Okay.
All right, let's move on to the second match, which is Nia Jax defending WWE.
I'm gonna ask you a question before you get to that match. Yeah. What did you make of the cold open?
Yeah, forgot about that. Yeah, I like how the first thing they showed on that cold open was literally Shawn Michaels. I'm like, yep, they're already starting off as a nostalgia for me. But the entirety, I enjoyed it because I was like, okay, they got him and they got Metro and Cody in the car staking down. I'm like, okay, what's the next scene? How's this gonna play out? And you got Triple H as the chief, basically, because he is like the chief branding officer. So now he's playing the role as police chief. I thought that was fun. That having Triple H do skits like that still at his age and this era is like it's still hilarious. And I enjoyed it. Cody, I wouldn't be surprised you see Cody in a movie someday. Because the dude comes off as a detective, like a cold, dry snitch, in my opinion. He comes off as a detective, but it was I enjoyed that. You told me about it, and I wanted to wait till the show started to see it. And man, that cold open was that was kudos. Triple H wasn't playing. They didn't hype it like that, but we all hyped it as we know that Bad Blood was shaping up to be something special, and it was.
Okay, and it was very special.
So let's dive on into match 2 on this pay-per-view. Was Nia Jax defending against Bayley. For me, despite it was almost, I don't want to say it was a botch fest, but there was a lot of miscues and screw-ups. But outside of that, I thought Nia Jax did well. She put in more work. She was moving faster than she's ever been, and she was really put in that she was literally wrestling. I mean, she tried the Hurricanrana that kind of failed, but I give her a B+ for actually trying to pull that off. So that was pretty cool. Again, like you can tell Nia is doing she's taking it a little bit more serious than her first stint in WWE. She's been in the lab, she's been training in the dungeon, she's been watching, taking care of her body, taking care of her health, and it's showing in the ring, like the way she stood, the poise that she had. It's like she took pride in her reign as WWE Women's Champion.
Yes.
And it's, despite what people may think, I feel like this is the best run she has so far, and this is her best title reign that she's had so far. Like I said, the spots of the match were those two girls did it perfectly well. Tiffany Stratton, I thought we were gonna get a failed cash in, that she was actually gonna cash in, but the way they had it look, the way they set that match up, the way they called that spot was genius, because the ref picked up the briefcase after she knocked out Bayley with it. The ref picked the briefcase. Tiffany wasn't even paying attention, and then she turned around. She was slowly grabbing the briefcase from the ref, and for some odd reason, Nia Jax pulled the ultimate Undertaker move.
Yeah, straight was like, dumb. I was like, whoa.
She set up like if you at home, and all my brothers and sisters from our African brothers and sisters know this very well. When you think your mom's asleep and you go in that kitchen and you try to get something to eat, you get a little snack after she told you, no, you don't need no snack. And out of nowhere, she rises up and say, what you doing? That was when she did that, that's what I had the chills of like, damn, my mom did the same shit when I was a kid. And she rose up, looked at Tiffany like, what you doing? And Tiffany's like, nah, that's not what it looks like. And it's crazy because at that moment, she really wasn't trying to cash in. She was really just getting the briefcase back. So I like how that's going to set up Nia really treating her like trash later on. It's probably going to bite her in the ass. But through all that, Nia Jax found a way to win with that Yokozuna splash and pins Bayley for the 1, 2, 3, retains the championship. And right now, Tiffany Stratton is still Miss Money in the Bank. I was expecting a failed cash in, but that spot had me dying.
So I've always said when I look at Nia, and obviously I see what go back to Tig's point about her first run, how they try to make her more like Andre the Giant. I always said she was a female Yoko. And I go back to some of the early clips of Yoko in his career before he gained all the weight. It was Umaga-like. It was Umaga. it was Umaga like. He was light on his feet. He was powerful, but he was light on his feet. But when I look at Nia, this first run, like it was kind of Andre the Giantish, like Tig was saying. But this second run, she's kind of reminded me of Yoko and Umaga because she's obviously using the athleticism that she has. She's a former basketball player. Obviously, we know she's had a history with knee injuries, but she still has found ways to compensate, and now she's in better shape than ever. And I always been saying it. She was everybody's first run. Everybody, when you get your first run, I think it's like, okay, you're happy to be here. So you're trying to be a good soldier. You're gonna do what's right, even if it makes you kind of look like a jackass. But yeah, congratulations. It was the second run, you can see her now come. Even when she had that guest spot, obviously she had the guest spot in the Royal Rumble last year, and obviously that planted the seeds. And then she finally came back last September. She dominated.
Yeah, when she came in September, she was lighter than what she was in that Rumble appearance.
Exactly. So that planted the seeds. But then when she came back, you could tell something was different. You looked at her. She looked like she was enjoying life. She made some personal changes in her life, religious wise and spiritually. But she's just in a better place. And then you think about how she dominated in the Royal Rumble. She wins Queen of the Ring. And then we did the watch along for SummerSlam when her and Bayley went for round 1. And when she hit that first Annihilator, it was like, okay. But when she hit that second one, when she let off that, that Samoan, Hawaiian scream, that was her like releasing from all the pain that she's dealt with from obviously being labeled as someone you don't want to work with, a dangerous worker, being obviously probably people criticizing her weight and this and that. And it was her, she finally had her moment. And this moment with Bayley, this past weekend at Bad Blood, she had it again. And obviously this Tiffany Stratton story is far from over. And clearly, I don't know if anybody saw the backstage digital stuff. Obviously, Jackie Redmond was interviewing her. Obviously, she trolls Jackie Redmond all the time because she's a Swift.
All the time. I love it.
And but she told Tiffany, we got to talk. And they went, and when if someone tells you you got to talk, the women says
it's never good.
It's never good. Those 4 words, we need to talk. It's never a good thing.
No.
I don't care if it's your mama, your sister, your girlfriend, your wife, when you hear those words, we need to talk, you know that it's not going to be a good thing. So I guarantee Friday night when we get to SmackDown, we're going to find out what they talked about.
Yeah, because all those near cashes that she got busted on, this one time when she was actually innocent, it's like she's not gonna believe her. She's literally gonna think that she tried it again. After, and mind you, John, after that SmackDown before, she made her promise that you're not gonna double cross me, and she's like, of course not. So for that to happen, it's like, okay, now she's lying. Now she's lying to the queen now. So it's gonna be something. I don't know where Bayley goes from here. I think she's done out of the title picture. I don't know what feud she's gonna start next. But this should be it between her and Nia. That rivalry should be put to bed. I don't know who's next to challenge her. Mia Yim had a chance. She got eliminated. I don't know when Charlotte's coming back. So it remains to be seen. Up next for her, though, it's probably going to be Liv Morgan.
Crown Jewel.
Yeah. So other than that, I'm anxious to see how that match is going to come out because it's just her and Tiffy. So this could be a moment where Tiffy is in the ring and she literally has a champion to choose from. So I'm anxious for that. So Nia gets dubbed. Now, the mid to second half of this pay-per-view is where it really, really picked up a little bit.
Uh-huh.
We had the Nia deserves this title run. She's put in the
Boy,
work since
Mike.
she returned. I agree.
My boy Mike.
If Tiffany Stratton
did in the house. What up, though?
Yeah, if Tiffany Stratton didn't win Miss Money in the Bank, well, actually, if Tiffany didn't become friends with Nia, I had Nia Jax holding on to that championship to the end of the year. She still might. Ain't no, I'm speaking too soon, so she still might hold that title to the beginning of the year. Ain't no telling. But because she had this dominant run, and I can see her holding it, and the only way for her to lose it has to be a cash in, and it has to be a cash in on someone else not named Nia Jax.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm anxious to see how that goes. So the next match we have was Judgment Day business. Finn Balor and Damian Priest.
Righteous.
This match was good. I enjoyed the physicality of this match. Damian Priest looked good. Pause. He's still that strong second to third babyface on that roster. I thought for sure Finn was going to get the win because he needed a dub, but I understand the route they took, and because I knew they had more Judgment Day matches coming up, so I knew for a fact one of Judgment Day members was going to win, and I used my booking logic, and I'm like, well, it ain't going to be Finn that's going to win, so they went with Damian Priest, and I enjoyed this, man. What do you think about Damian Priest and Finn Balor?
Well, I was wrong on this one. You were right. I thought it was going to be a rough night for the Cherry Twins. I'm glad I was wrong because I do think when I started to see the vision that you was the picture you was painting when we previewed this match, that obviously you still need to keep this story going on a little while longer. If Priest would have lost, it probably would have been pretty much a one-off ish like thing, but you were right about everything, and they put a good match on. Obviously, I'm a big fight game fan. Styles makes fights, and obviously you put a guy like Finn Balor who's shorter, very athletic, high flyer, but can be as grimy as he want to be against obviously someone like Damian Priest who's tall and powerful and a super heavyweight type, and sometimes you get a masterpiece. And obviously the spots, we knew that JD and Carlito would get involved, but the spots that caught my attention the whole was near the end was how Damian Priest took all those coup de grace to the back.
Yeah.
And he just kept getting up and up. I'm like, obviously wrestlers need their backs, especially with a guy like Priest who does a choke slam and he falls. For him to take like 3 different coup de grace, one he take a normal one, he take a couple of ones that are unorthodox, and still get back up and get the W. It was great. Good match. Finn Balor, obviously, he, like you were saying, he needs a dub eventually. I think obviously they might run this back probably at Crown Jewel, if I guess. And but I love the match. It was good to see, and the Judgment Day and the Terror Twins rivalry is far from over.
Yeah, I like how, I don't know if you noticed, but I like how they're booking Damian Priest. Like, this dude is going 1v4. Like every time you see him, is like he's taking on JD, Carlito, and Finn Balor at once, like all the time, and he's like literally running them, like he's owning all of them, and like it makes you feel like he is that dude from the Bronx, from New York, that if you 3 guys and you try to jump them in the alley, your best bet is to help those 3 guys. Because like Damian Priest is that dude that he'll square up on all 3 of you and knock every one of you out. So I like how it took all those plus outside interference, and yet the man still would not go down, and he still wound up getting that victory. I like how they're making Priest look strong to the point of, he's getting double T and triple T, but yet he's still whooping everybody's ass. For God's sake, the dude's like what, 7 foot? I mean,
about
he's
about
like
6'9", about 6'9", 6'10", probably like obviously he left up the Razor. Razor was like 6'6", 6'7". But he's like you say more. But he got the height of a Diesel, Kevin Nash, probably like closer to 7 footer. But I think he's like in the 6'9", 6'10" area. But man, for a dude to be that athletic, obviously he idolized Razor Ramon and the Undertaker, so he's learned how to let his height be a benefit to his in-ring skills and not be a hindrance.
Yeah, and the way they book him is like, it's going to take more than just one guy to beat him. And it's like, you need like Dom, Carlito, and JD, and Finn, like guys who are like shorter than him. It's like you literally need all of them just to try to take him down. So I like the fact that they're playing up to him as, this badass dude from the Bronx. So, bigs up to him. I don't know how long this feud's going to go. I think the Territories versus Judgment Day should be coming to an end soon. I don't know. It might bleed into War Games. I'm not sure because if anything, the War Games match will be bloodline heavy, so they're not gonna have two male War Games matches. So if anything, they might have a regular traditional Survivor Series match with the Judgment Day versus Finn Balor versus Damian Priest and whatever team he can come up with. But if not, I think this should be done by the end of the year, and Priest needs to move on to I don't know who this next feud is gonna be, but this was a fun rivalry. This was a fun feud. It's been brewing since basically since last year, to be honest with you.
Right.
So it's been a year, so it has to sooner or later. I'm with Tig. This has to end, and he needs to go on to have a more meaningful feud. I don't know if he's going to get back into the world title picture to challenge Gunther later on, or it could be him and Braun Breaker later. I don't know, but this is ran its course,
right?
To me,
and to your point, because obviously we're going to get into the next match. When you talk about War Games, I think the match that we're going to talk about is where
this one definitely has War Games implications. Yeah,
the Terror Twins Judgment Day rivalry is the one. This is going to be the one that has the War Games implications. As far as like you said with Priest, Tig said he needs an edge-like character to beef with. I think right now the build for him is to get him on a run, win some matches on Raw, and then he obviously makes his declaration for the Royal Rumble and be one of those final 5 or 4 guys who's going to be in there. And obviously this is going to be a star-studded Rumble because you think about who we already know. We think about who's not wearing gold right now, who hasn't been in a Rumble in quite some time. And you think about certain people who are taking farewell tours. You think about people who are coming back from surgeries. This is going to be a star-studded Royal Rumble, but we'll get to that in due time. We got a whole 4 months to get to that. But let's get back to the program. Go ahead, Trey.
Right. And like you alluded to, the other Judgment Day business match that I was looking forward to seeing was Liv Morgan once again defending her Women's World Championship against the Eradicator herself, Rhea Ripley, with Dominic Mysterio locked inside a shark cage. This was a fun match. This match also gave me a heart attack at one point. And this was also one of those matches where Triple H should run me my check. You can send that to Zelle. Thank you. So I like how the shark cage was actually, I'm pretty sure it probably would have been in the middle of the ring, but the fact that the Hell in a Cell was built right there, they couldn't do it. So I like how it was set, towards the end of the ramp. Dom damn near gave me a scare because he was trying his best to help out Liv. I don't know. He was just sitting there, so the camera wasn't really on him much. Liv was getting her ass whooped by Rhea, which I pretty much knew what was going to happen. And when he found the way to open the cage, I thought, I don't know how he's gonna get the cage open, but then when he got it open, I'm like, okay, he's just gonna jump down. But then I'm looking at the height. I'm like, even though he's in his early to mid 20s,
Right.
That jump, he definitely would have messed up his legs, if not broke them. So I'm like,
I'm more worried about his neck, to be honest, too.
Yeah, exactly.
The fall
I'm glad you mentioned his neck because when he was leaning over, for some reason, I did not think he was actually going to fall over.
Right.
I was like, okay, he's trying to do something. He's trying to get his attention. And I guess, I don't know. And for him to easily open the door, I'm like, okay, that was like, okay. But I tell you, John, when he fell over, for that split second, I was thinking Owen Hart at Over the Edge in your house. I'm like, I would literally was like, oh shit. But then I didn't know that. I didn't obviously good camera angles, good camera switching the cameras and stuff. We didn't see him tie something around his ankles. So when he dropped, he dangled. So when that happened, I'm like, oh Jesus, God damn it. I'm like, ain't no way this just happened. I thought literally he was gonna fall and literally like break his back because I was not expecting that spot. A simple spot like that, and I still wasn't expecting it. What did you think of that spot, man?
Who's dangerous? I was definitely keeping my eye on, especially when the cage door opened. I was like, oh boy, I don't know what's gonna happen here, but I'm keeping my eyes on it. And I don't know, is he gonna try to jump out? Obviously, there's nobody there. They're not gonna have him do no cross bodies across two ladies. That would have just been totally incompetent.
Right.
So, and there was no security or referees down there to say if Liv and Rhea was outside brawling, and they could obviously separate it, because then it would have been a double count out. But I was scared for the spot, but I was, like you said, camera angles. Y'all think Ray knew about that? Oh, of course he did.
If he didn't, man, I'm not a parent. John is 10 years. I'm not a parent, but if he didn't know that spot was happening, I can only imagine that thought process going through that man's head. Like, oh shit, what the fuck?
I guarantee him. Unless they're keeping him and his son away from each other, he's in the loop on everything that's going on with his oldest child. But when he got there and he was hanging like a piñata, I was like, oh boy.
Yep. And when she grabbed that kendo stick, yeah, you was there when I was like it was time.
It's about to turn into a birthday party.
Yeah, literally, because she was whooping that dude's ass, that kendo stick. I'm like, oh, this is gold. Now, mind you, I was not paying attention to the count. So lo and behold, when she's whooping this dude's ass, here comes Raquel Rodriguez making her return, her long-awaited return from medical hiatus. Now, during this spot, it's a little controversy because it was actually a botched spot.
That's right.
The ref was supposed to be busy dealing with Dominic Mysterio, trying to get him down, and while Raquel hits Rhea with the Chicana bomb, but the referee for some reason didn't get the memo, turned around and called for a disqualification, which is why it looked like at first I thought Raquel messed up. But I'm like, it turned out that it was an actual botch. Raquel was doing the right thing by putting Liv over Rhea. She's supposed to get that pin. But since it ended disqualification, Rhea gets the win by DQ.
Right.
So now it's like, was supposed to be a for sure, all right, Rhea's been beaten twice. This is it. We're gonna move on to Raquel. Now it's like you have to raise the question of, do they give Rhea another shot?
Right.
Because she didn't get pinned. Do they still give Rhea another shot? Or do they automatically go straight into Raquel? Because that feud, I saw clips of their last woman standing match from NXT, and man, if
That was
that's
Rhea's
any
last match,
indication,
and that was Rhea's last match in NXT.
yeah, if that's any indication, we're in for a treat because I've been dying to see this version of Raquel since her debut. I did not like the always smiling, flexing her back, which didn't make sense to me because Rhea has a better back than Raquel. So if anyone should do that flex pose, it should be Rhea, right?
Hey, Mike,
so
we agreeing with you. Our boy Mike D from Wrestling from the 313. He pretty much reading our minds. That's what we're gonna get to in a second. Yeah, I went back and I remember watching that match when it first happened. It was New Year's Evil 2021. Obviously, it was during the pandemic, so the crowd was limited at the PC at that time. But it was a last woman standing match, and it was Rhea Ripley's last match at NXT before she got called up to Raw, to the main roster, and they went everywhere. I mean, that was brutality. Raquel got the victory, but man, everyone knew Rhea Ripley went out the way Rhea Ripley was going to go out and out fight. Mm-hmm. So to your question, obviously we Liv got to focus on Nia Jax and the Crown Jewel Championship match. Obviously, I do think we could see Liv and Raquel maybe at Crown Jewel, because you got to start figuring out which, as the weeks come, as we're doing our shows, we got to figure out what's going to be the card. I think we got a few ideas what is going to be in the card, but everybody's going to want to know, is a certain family feud going to be on the card that we'll get to in a second. I do think that's how it goes. You go with Liv and Raquel, and then as our boy Mike D was saying from the 313, Wrestling from the 313, make sure y'all subscribe to their channel. He's doing big numbers, and check out all his reels. Pretty entertaining. I think this sets up War Games. Now obviously you're gonna have Team Liv versus Team Rhea, and obviously Liv has Raquel, and then she needs to get two or three other people. Now we've known obviously the men have always had 5-man War Games matches, and last year was 4, but remember, like the first year when War Games came back, it was 5 women, because remember it was Team Bianca versus Damage Control and Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
But
I already know who they're. I think I have an idea who Rhea and Raquel's teammates gonna be. I
do too, and I think we're gonna. And I think we're reading your mind. I think I'm gonna let you say it first before I'm thinking the same thing.
I think they're gonna have somehow, some way they're gonna have the stud line.
Yes.
Fusion the Collective. Yes. Join them for Survivor Series.
Yes, that's exactly where I was going. And then I think Liv is going to have to call some. She's going to have to call some big dogs.
No, that's
champions. She'll call some champs.
You mean Rhea?
Yeah, Rhea. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm saying Rhea. Excuse me. As Liv has her, Raquel, and the PCF, I think Rhea gets on the horn with some other some current champions who has definitely a lot of War Games experience. Someone she's very familiar with from her time in NXT, who has a certain partner who likes to let everybody know that a storm is coming, if you get my drift. That's one idea I'm thinking, because I'm trying to, because I don't see no one on Raw. Obviously, I know everybody can bring up. I can see Lyra Valkyria maybe from Raw.
It's gonna be them. It's gonna be them.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be them. I think it's gonna be the party girls, Katana Chance and Kate Carter and Valkyria, and maybe either Selena Vega or Natalia.
I would love to be Selena Vega. no disrespect in the top. I would love to see Zelina Vega in that spot.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. I think it's probably it's gonna be either Natalia or Selena Vega in that match. I don't know if it's. I think that's gonna be. It's gonna be an all Raw.
Well, what Mike's saying right there.
Or that Rhea and Damage Control. But you still need. You still gonna need 2 more people. So I think it's still probably gonna be Katana, and Carter.
Katana, or they go. Myra
I don't think you're gonna get Bianca and Jade coming over unless
it's something involved with the tag team title.
Yeah, unless by that time, the tag team champions are in the middle of a feud with one of those girls. Which right now they got a tag team title match with Damage Control, but it's been mostly one-off title defenses. So I don't even know if they're going to have a feud with anyone on Raw that's going to carry over to being part of War Games. So I think it's going to be all the women on Raw that's going to have that War Games match, because everyone on SmackDown, I don't see anyone forming a team to have enough women on that roster to have to go on 5v5 in a War Games. So I think Raw is going to have that one, and obviously the SmackDown is going to have the men because it's going to be the Bloodline. So
absolutely. I agree.
I think that's how that's going to go for that. Baller said you can get Bayley, Bianca, Jade, and Naomi versus Mia Yim versus Jax, Tiffany. I
see. I don't see. I'm more with you.
You just throwing women in there.
In the history of War Games, the last 2 years, they've always had one match from Raw and one match from SmackDown. It's not been just one whole brand.
Exactly. And for that, you just throwing a whole bunch of women together that really, not really making.
I can see that
making a whole lot of sense because Tiffany Stratton doesn't have a feud. She's just there with the briefcase, stirring the pot, being in the middle. So I think it's gonna be Raw because you can bleed that whole Liv versus Rhea featuring Raquel for that match, and that's Raw side. So I think for the women it's 4v4. They could go to 5, but the men is definitely 5-on-5.
Always, men will always be 5-on-5. I got your Mike saying, what about we? I could see that one as well if whenever she decides to put pen to paper. Her, Rhea, they got obviously.
I mean, yeah, she does have unfinished business with Liv Morgan, so it could be her. She could come, but I think if we're gonna see Becky Lynch, it's probably gonna be the Rumble.
Got you. And the pop will be extremely off. Lucas Oil Stadium, the roof will go off the hinges the moment she walks out. Cold Winds asks a question. Tell me why Io Sky is the greatest woman wrestler in the world.
She has one of the top. She's top 3 in female moonsault, to give you that. But so Liv gets the dub on that one with the help of Raquel. Now, Sir John. Yes, Mo. I think The Rock will make his first appearance inside War Games. I do believe that, and I think that's where the new bloodline will get the dub over Roman Reigns and his bloodline, or whatever people he has on his team. I think The Rock will. I don't know how much work he's going to do in there, but I do think you're going to have Rock in there, which will set the stage for WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. Speaking of The Rock, the main event, the tag match we didn't think we was gonna see, but I kind of knew it was going to happen with how Cody Rhodes kept getting his ass whooped for months against the Bloodline. Cody Rhodes, the undisputed WWE champion, teaming up with the man he beat that took half of the roster and some of the legends to do, the Tribal Chief, the original Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns against Jacob Fatu and the new Tribal Chief, Solo Sikoa.
Yeah.
This match was awesome. They still limited Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu interaction, so they're still saving up for whenever they go head to head. It could be a crown jewel, but depending on how the match ended and how the pay-per-view ended, it might not be him versus Jacob yet.
Right.
So there's a lot of emotion in this match. Cody did most of the work, getting his butt kicked as always. Till we got the hot tag for Roman. Roman was cleaning house. Solo and Jacob got the best of Roman. Now, the part that was cool was Solo took you back in time in history. He was yelling at Roman saying, "You lied to me.
Mm-hmm.
You said I was next in line."
Right.
Which Roman did say.
Yes,
he was the tribal heir.
Yes, he did.
However, he did say he was the tribal heir when he decided to step down.
Yes.
So when Roman took his leave, he jumped the gun and was like, "I'm the tribal chief now." So he was like, "You lied to me. You said I was the tribal heir. You said I was next in line. You said this was mine." And just when you thought he was going to hit him with that Samoan spike, somebody appeared at the corner of the screen, masked up, hooded up. And I seen this man before, because that was the same man that cost Jey Uso the Undisputed Championship about a few months back last year, if I'm not mistaken. Jimmy Uso made his long-awaited return, and Lindia says he attacked the Tongans, and then he caused a distraction for Roman Reigns to capitalize with the spear. Got the 1, 2, 3, but the fun did happen until after the match. John, what'd you think of this match, man, and the return of our guy, Mr. No Yeet, Jimmy Uso?
Man, first of all, I saw the camera angle how he slid under the ring like a snake, basically right past the Tongans. I don't know how he got past them like that. But that was good theater. When I seen that dude in the hoodie, I was like, oh boy. I had SummerSlam flashbacks all over. And then he hits Tonga Loa. I think it was Tonga hits first, and Tonga Loa. And then he unzips the hood, puts down the hoodie, unzips it, and you see the "They Not the Ones" t-shirt.
I'm copping that.
Just popping from here to Decatur. And it was like, oh man, this just got real. And obviously it was he had to remind him like, I'm still your big brother. It's like the scene in Four Brothers with Andre 3000 and Tyrese got was like wrestling in the living room, and Tyrese kept throwing these little paper things at Andre 3000. He said, "You gonna do it one more time?" And he said, "What you gonna do?" Watch. He did it one more time, and 3 Stacks just sat there patiently. And then he got up and he just popped them in the head. And that's exactly what Jimmy was waiting on. I was like, yeah, I'm just waiting on the right time to get my link back. And had to remind you, I'm still your big brother. And that's exactly what he did. And when he was doing that, Solo was flustered and ran right into an OTC spear and got pinned 1, 2, 3. And Roman just in shock, having this. Now he saw the face.
Yeah.
The face.
Now, mind you, the dialogue between him and Jimmy last year leading up to WrestleMania when he was like, when he told Jimmy he was the quarterback, Jimmy was like, I'm the quarterback, Oots. I run the plays, blah, blah, blah. That little, back and forth joking exchange. Now, fast forward to Bad Blood, Roman looks up like, you did that? You called the play? Like, you quarterback this? He's like, yeah, I called the play, Oots, for my dog. You know what I'm saying? So to see that emotion from Roman, like, damn, I do got family. I do got a friend in need. I do got someone in my corner. I don't have no Rise Man, no Jay, no nobody. And Jimmy has been loyal to the soil even after he kicked Roman in the face when the Usos supposedly left the bloodline.
All the time.
He still was trying to, still stay in the bloodline. And he wound up staying in the bloodline, and he was the first man to get eliminated when Solo took over. So if anyone had his back, it was always gonna be, Jimmy. So to see them hug it out, it's like, man, the crowd erupted. It's like, all right, this is step one of getting the family back together.
Right.
So watch, and then they're leaving. Roman looks at Cody, gives a nod, like, all right, my job's done. I had your back. I made the promise. I kept it. See you later. Next time I see you, it's going to be for that gold.
Right.
So when he's leaving, once again, Cody gets jumped. Jimmy's like, hey, come on, dog. We got to go help out. And Roman's like, hey, this was a one-time deal. I said I was going to help him one time, and I was done. And Jimmy was like, hey, man, this. He was like, all right, this is your call. Like, I'm with you no matter what. And when Roman went back, I was like, oh, shit. Here we go. And watching Jimmy and Roman go to work, and then that little, I don't know if you've seen that robot movie where there's a guy who's like, training a robot, whatever. So when Roman went for the Superman punch, Jimmy, like in midair, was doing the Superman punch with Roman, like he was controlling them or something.
Right.
It was like a little kid, that was like the coolest thing. Like, I mean, they made fun of him in the video, or whatever. They had like a little music video behind that with they was comparing them to the movie, but them getting the best of the bloodline, I was like, all right, man, this is cool. Roman picks up the belt, handed it to Cody. I'm like, all right, this is it. Cody got the belt. Cody got the dub. Cody lifts the belt in the air. I'm like, and then that's when I was like, wait, something ain't right. It feels like something ain't done. And then out of nowhere, if just a man.
And I'm like, oh.
I was like, oh, the final boss is here. He didn't say a word. Yeah, to real steel. That shit was dying. It was like a little kid controlling a robot. It was like he was fanboying for a second there. But when The Rock came out and he didn't even say a word, he just stood there. I was telling you, John, that on Saturday, Rock is looking. He's not liking what he's seeing. He's like, if I can read his thoughts, I'm like, you mean to tell me this man who disrespected our family legacy at the kickoff show, who had all the roster's help to beat you, and you gonna team with him and help him out against Blood? He just had to look like, John, like if you did something wrong and your mom was like, all right, wait till your pops get home.
Yep.
Like, John, you should know this because you got a daughter. So, like, let's say, like, your daughter do something wrong. You come home and you give her that stare. And it's like, ah, shit. Like, you fucked up. And the look alone is like it's telling you so much stuff without a word being said.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh shit. And Roman just standing there, like just staring there. I'm like, yeah, what's up?
That's what because and then the video when I rewatched it again yesterday on YouTube, and obviously you go to the cut where Rock's staring at Roman, then they showing Rock staring at Cody, and then he does the 1, the 2, the 3, and then does the little kind of like the little gesture, how he's just pissed, and I'm like, and you hear the solo, it's all part of the plan, it's all part of the plan, and we're like,
so
we'll see.
I'm like, is he just trolling the fans, or he really just saying, hey, hey?
And then I think I sent it to you. It was the Raw before Mania, that clip backstage of Solo the night he was going to face Seth Rollins in the Bloodline Rules match, and that's when we found out that Roman was going to induct Paul Heyman into the Hall of Fame, and he was like, he's ready, man. He's ready. So it's going to be interesting. So it's a question from my boy Mike D from the Wrestle from the 313. Do you think The Rock would wrestle in a match like War Games, seeing that the match is physical and he could go back to Hollywood if he has to film a movie?
Yeah.
I think if Rock is back now, he's not leaving until after WrestleMania. He probably as far as I don't think he's leaving until after Mania, Mike. I think now I think he's willing to step into War Games. Obviously, he's not going to have to do a lot of the heavy labor. They'll probably save him. They'll save him for last to go into the cage. But he won't do a lot of heavy labor, and he'll be quarterbacking the offense for him and Solo. Be quarterbacking and offensive coordinating for Jacob Fatu and the Tongans to try to take out Roman, and who we know. Yeah. I mean, we all know who we expect who's going to be on Team Bloodline, OG Bloodline versus Bloodline 2.0. But Rock will definitely do it for sure. I guarantee. Cody was saying the report is on Hakeemu is he's going to NXT.
Okay. All right.
The report, he's going to NXT. That they got plans for him in NXT, but anything.
And with that being said, Rock is for sure going to be in that match.
Yes.
And based on what happened after Bloodline went off the air, it's safe to say Cody's probably not going to be in that match either.
Let's go there. All
right. So the match concluded. Rock came out. We thought the pay-per-view was over. So while me and John are going over the recap of the show, the Twitter world was going crazy. One, after The Rock cut his promo after the show, saying that he see what he saw and he didn't like it, so he cut that amazing promo. Shout out to Termite Tequila because he's like, whoo, that's good shit. So he cuts his legendary promo, but that's not the only thing that happened after the show. While we're in the middle of conducting, Sports4U business, the Twitter world was buzzing, and I just happened to look, and we saw Kevin Owens being the dog shit at Cody in front of his tour bus. So imagine you leaving the show, and it's like, man, that was a good show. Did you have fun? Yeah, I had fun. You look over, oh shit, what's over there? And you see Cody and KO talking. Next thing you know, he socks the shit out of Cody and just starts stomping on him. So I'm guessing he saw the match, saw how it ended. It's like, and KO couldn't take it anymore. So I like how this was the most expected heel turn. We knew KO was going to turn heel, and yet they still got us with how he turned heel because there's no cameras around. It was literally people posting it from on social media that who's going to be the fifth member of the OG Bloodline? It's probably going to be Sammy.
I agree. Yeah, it's definitely Sammy.
It's probably going to be Sammy. Sammy lost against Gunther, so it's going to be him and Jay probably teaming up for a bit or whoever. So it's I wouldn't be surprised if they go against the Tongans for the tag team titles, or they might save that for a later time with the actual Usos. but it's more likely probably gonna be Sammy since there's no son of Zilla and the other one's going to NXT, so it's definitely for sure old bloodline versus new bloodline. But back to Cody and KO, there's no WWE exclusive. There was no breaking news. This was literally fans walking by, minding their business, looking over, pulling out the camera phones, like, "Yo, you're not gonna believe what I'm seeing." So now it's like I'm definitely looking forward to SmackDown because I like to see the fallout from that because we did not expect Kevin Owens to turn heel after hours, off the clock. Right. So,
and that's exactly what happened. And Cody, as I said, and I know a lot of people was trying to bait him, like Sammy and Kathy Kelly was trying to get him to speak about it, the situation. He wouldn't do it, which is great theater. It was great theater. I loved it. He's going to wait till he gets back on his turf and talk about it, and I can't wait. So, yeah. Well, yeah, Tig, but the fans that weren't expecting that though. You still see the fans walking out of State Farm, and that happens. It's like you're getting a dark match in the parking lot. So what I'm saying. So that's like what Trail's saying. Definitely I
think it was fans, man. Like I'm pretty sure they are gonna have cameras out there, but I think it's the way because Cody has a tour bus. The fans are gonna line up to take photos of Cody going to his tour bus when he leaves. He doesn't leave with everybody else. He leaves on his own bus. So of course, I've done this multiple times when I went to live events. We always go to where the parking structure is when they leave to catch, a photo, maybe sign some autographs or something. So I'm pretty sure people were lining up to snap a photo of Cody leaving, waving bye to Cody or yelling out to Cody, bye or something like that. And they see him and Kevin Owens having the chat. So that's possible that fans really saw that was like, oh shit. It could have been a decoy plant. Who knows? But
it was
there were fans that, and there were so many different angles of the fight that it wasn't from the same spot. It was from different spots. So I do believe some of those did come from fans.
Right. Mike saying if Cody and KO don't wrestle one-on-one Survivor Series, I can see Cody and KO added to the War Games match. Man, I hope you're wrong.
Yeah, because I don't see it because the Bloodline has enough members to go 5-on-5.
It's gonna be Bloodline. I think. Look, I know, and I know, and we all know. Look, we talked about it. We talked about it in our personal group chats. How polarizing Cody is with certain with specifically a lot of the Bloodline fans. And if he was to get added to that match, it would even make things he would even be even more polarizing. I think it's going to happen at Survivor Series. I personally think Kevin Owens is going to screw Cody out of the match for Gunther. And if it doesn't happen at Survivor Series, it will happen I think it'll be Saturday Night Main Event. It'll be Saturday Night Main Event because I don't think you can let that drag out all the way to the Royal Rumble. But it'll happen before the year's out. But if I had to guess,
it's gonna be Survivor Series.
It'll be Survivor Series.
I think it's gonna be Survivor Series. I agree. Unless they have, I don't know how many traditional Survivor Series matches they're gonna have. I think it's probably just gonna be the War Games itself. Okay, so if it's just War Games, I think Kevin Owens gets another shot at Cody at Survivor Series, and I think you're right. I think Cody's gonna get screwed over, and he's gonna take an L to Gunther because I don't see Gunther taking a pinfall loss right now as world champion until he actually loses the championship. So I think Kevin Owens is probably gonna stick it to Cody again. Mm-hmm. I'm anxious to see the dynamic between KO and Randy Orton when Randy Orton gets back to SmackDown.
Right.
So I think we're gonna get Cody and KO at Survivor Series for the WWE Championship. This might be KO's last shot at the championship.
Yeah.
And then you got Saturday night's main event. Who knows how that card's gonna shape up? What kind of match is gonna be on there? Um, Roman Reigns might be involved. Who knows? But yeah, man. This I think as of right now, Cody Rhodes is officially done with the bloodline.
I agree.
Um, After getting that ass whooping, I think Cody's gonna go in this direction. Roman Reigns and Jimmy's gonna go that direction. They're gonna start building for the bloodline war games, and Cody now is gonna focus on Kevin Owens and Gunther. So I
But
think
Cody,
this is it. This is it for Cody in the bloodline, in my opinion, until Roman gets his rematch, if he does in fact get that rematch.
Cody, don't speak that even into an existence. It's not happening. It's not happening. We will not see go. We are not going to see. We will not see Goldberg in the ring. We said it when we watched it when we watched it on Saturday. It was a reason why he was there. It was Atlanta. That's the one place Goldberg will go where he won't get. He's going to get booed wherever he goes, but that's the one place where the cheers will outweigh the boos because he's from Atlanta. He's obviously his career in Atlanta. He played for the Falcons. WCW's headquarters were in Atlanta. Were in Atlanta. There was no Turner's headquarters were in Atlanta. That was it. It was a one-off.
Right.
It was a one-off. You got your call from your hometown with your wife and son there, and that's it. Like
I thought the same thing until I saw what I saw.
I know where you're going. I know you're going.
He told Goldberg, "Hey, we'll talk." Goldberg's like, "You got my number," and Triple H was like, "We're gonna talk very soon." There is a small. I mean, obviously, with the announcement of the Crown Jewel championship, obviously we're gonna get Gunther and Cody Rhodes. So we ain't gotta worry about Goldberg taking on Gunther at Crown Jewel. No, we could erase it out the mind. It's not gonna happen. He got Cody, champ versus champ. That's a done deal. We might see Goldberg at the Royal Rumble. He might make an appearance at the Royal Rumble. We might see Goldberg at Saturday night's main event.
Definitely.
He might make an appearance there. So this doesn't necessarily mean Goldberg's getting a championship match. And if he does, it's probably gonna be a Saturday night main event. Because Gunther's going to need an opponent. It's not going to be Braun Breaker anytime soon because Braun Breaker's on a warpath to get back at Jimmy. So she said Survivor Series, maybe.
Which I keep eyes on. But like I said, I told you and Tig the other day, I like Gunther antagonizing the legends.
Yeah.
And just keep it that way. We're not going to see. I don't want to see Gunther in the ring with Bret Hart. Don't want to see him in the ring with Goldberg. I only want to see him in the ring with RVD, and RVD's in the best shape. By the way, congratulations on him signing the new Legends deal. But I don't want to see him in the ring with Legends. He'll just terrorize them. I don't think
he's going to terrorize Goldberg, though.
No, I think you're right there. I think you're right there.
He's going to eat a spear.
It'll be brutality. As far as brutality, but no, he won't terrorize it.
He's gonna eat a spear one way or the other. But I don't want to see a match, but I will not be surprised if it's either at Survivor Series or in December as Saturday night's main event. Or I'm personally gonna say he's gonna be in the Rumble, or he might have the championship match at the Rumble. It's gonna be one of those. It's gonna be a one-off match. So that's that, But overall, Bad Blood was a success. Triple H once again delivered with an A+,
5-star review.
A+ pay-per-view, 5-star in John's mind pay-per-view. And that pretty much concludes, our Bad Blood recap. Thanks to everybody that showed up. Sheed, Wrestling from the 313, Tig, Mo, everyone else who popped in. I didn't catch the comments. Thank y'all for supporting this new Sports4U Wrestling podcast. This is I'm looking forward to what's next. Call out names. John, do you we'd like to do the intro and the honors to your favorite, your staple of a segment.
All right. Well, if you're familiar, there's two questions. So, my boy Mike was saying, shout out to Wrestling with 3-on-3, saying it's gonna be interesting to see how Roman and Jimmy convince Jay to join War Games. Yo, yeah, that's gonna be very. Those gonna be some very intense conversations. And I didn't feel bad for Obafemi losing last night. He's longest reign as the champion, and I think he's gonna have some other gold in his near future. Believe that. So I didn't feel
he's main roster bound.
He will definitely see him in the Royal Rumble. But it's now time for a final segment of the show. It's often imitated, it's never duplicated. Our boy Dolly's favorite segment. But we add a little twist on it for Sports4U Wrestling Podcast. On the Sports4U Podcast, we call it calling out names. But for the Sports4U Wrestling, our esteemed host and visionary for the show, Trail, calls this segment.
Oh no, that's gonna be a rare.
Got you.
Like you literally have to be a hoe to be called a hoe. You know what I'm saying? Tony Khan was a hoe last week. So this time around, I don't have any hoes.
So therefore,
it's just gonna be called out names. You got a shout out after you're called out names. I do have a shout out segment, but yeah, go ahead, sir. Who you got calling out names?
I'm calling out again my fellow fans of the WWE Universe. So it was reported this morning that a male fan was caught trying to tape NXT women's wrestlers' feet.
Oh, what? Oh, that's nasty.
Twice. And he got ejected out of the hotel the hotel that the NXT talent was staying in St. Louis twice. Let me say this to all our fans. Look, NXT
gotta be a white team.
These are some beautiful women. But let's treat them like women and not like their objects. I love me some Kalani. I love what I saw last night seeing Kalani Jordan with Bianca and Jade. I love Fatal Influence. I love me some Lola Vice. I love me some Jada Parker. But let's treat them like they're women, fellas. Y'all be taping their toes like that. Women, did y'all learn anything from Rex Ryan? That doesn't get you anywhere.
I mean, it gives you a freak label, but you know,
right. That was just creepy, man. Keep your phones to yourselves, please. That's the only person I got. Whoever that fan was who was trying to take them women's feet last night in St. Louis, shame on you, and you look like Boo Boo the Fool right now.
He's a fan, all right. He's a freaky ass nigga, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, he's a fan.
All right. Well, that concludes John's calling out names. I personally don't have a calling out names because it's usually the same people, but this one I'm gonna have a shout out.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Triple H and Shawn Michaels, because they did something on NXT that the moment I saw it, I knew they was pretty much talking shit to the fans, because the fans are going on saying how WWE ain't booking the African American superstars correctly just because they're not on a PLE. So in NXT, Trick Williams comes out, has his little verbal spell with old boy Wesley. Then Jimmy Uso comes out. I mean, Jay Uso comes out, which was dope, having Trick with his whoop that trick and Jay with his yeet chants, whoop that trick, yeet. That was a cool moment. But now what caught my attention was it was time for the 6-woman tag match with Kalani Jordan and tag team champions versus Fatal Influence. Kalani Jordan comes out first. And then when Kalani Jordan came out, I noticed Jay was still in the ring. So I'm like, why is he still standing there? Why? And then I noticed Trick was still standing there. Why is Trick standing there? Then Bianca and Jay come out. They get in the ring. Trick and Jay is still standing there. And then they all stood in the ring in front of the camera. Jay and Trick were standing in the back. And you had the tag team champions of Bianca Belair and Jay Cargill and Kalani Jordan standing in the forefront, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, this is pretty much saying to the fans, oh, we don't rock with, we don't book our African American people, we don't book our minorities, right? Here's our champions right here. You have the women's North American champion, African American. You have the women's tag team champions, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, African American. You have Trick Williams in the back, African American. You have Jay Uso in the back, IC champion, Samoan. So what you had, Triple H was flustered with that question being asked at the press conference, but he clearly showed you, y'all forgot. He's pretty much told everyone, kiss my ass. We had these people, we had these champions the entire time, being booked correctly, shown with respect. So what y'all talking about? So I want to give them a shout out because they said a lot without saying anything. And that's the best way you can do it. Action speaks louder than words. And it's like, and I know this is probably going to happen anyway. So the fact that they made it a point to have them stand there, it was a moment. It was a moment for the culture, and it's like Triple H and the WWE has been rocking with the culture for a long time, and people forget that. So to see that, I was like, man, that's dope. He pretty much responded without going to Twitter, without making a statement that might look like, because if you're not black, everything you say is always going to be the wrong answer, or it's always going to be what you mean by that. Like, what do you mean, like this, and that? Like, oh, that's how you feel. It's always like that. You're always going to be wrong if you're not part of the culture. So the fact that they did it this way to show that, what are you talking about? We always been for the culture. So props to them for setting that up.
As Mike just said, HBK and Triple H are for the culture. I mean,
Always for the
culture. It was an iconic picture. And then you think after the match, Kaylani and Jade and Bianca got the dub. They put over Kaylani, obviously, by letting her get the pin last night, and she gets the pin, and they're all holding their arms up, holding their belts. And then when you fast forward at the end of the night, they're walking out the building. She knows that she's not done with Fatal Influence, but Jade and Bianca got to go take care of their business on SmackDown. And who walks up on them? But
Metaphor.
Oh, the Metaphor, Lash Legend and Jakar Jackson, who called out the chair from outside the club, outside the arena.
Yeah, and they said, and Bianca and Jay was like, all right, well, we're not going to come to you. If you want a championship match from us, come see us. Put up the SmackDown. So now we're going to get Jakari and Lash on the main roster for a night as a title shot. So again, yes, it's not a PLE, but I thought they don't book African American talent. And before people say, oh, they're just doing this because social media is on their necks, Jakari Jackson and Lash Legend have been calling out the champs for at least a month now. Mm-hmm. They've been calling out for the tag team. They've been asking for a tag team title shot for a month before all this started. So, and now we're going to get that. 4 black women fighting for the championship. It's like, what are we talking about here? Just because they're not on the PLE? They're being featured on national television, primetime spots. What more do you want from them? It's like, seriously, just shut up, quit complaining about nothing. And it sounds stupid that you complain that they're not on the PLE, but they're still being featured as dominant champions. Now, none of those women have lost their championships yet. I mean, Jade and Bianca lost, but they were never pinned, and then when I'm getting them back. Mm-hmm. Kaylani is on a run right now, and I don't see anyone beating her because Stephanie Vercure is busy helping out Julia, so her reign is safe right now. And yes, Edgar, Cody is half black, and some of our people from the culture don't like that he's half black because they never want to accept someone who's down with the culture. If you don't believe me, Ask Eminem. Yeah, man, that was a moment, and that's my shout out. So we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here. I got a few things to take care of. I know John wants to fully invest in this Dodgers game right now because they're up 5-0.
We're doing good. We're doing good.
So I know he wants to be fully involved. So we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Again, thanks for everyone for showing up. And this has been Sports4U Wrestling. Again, I'm Trail. That's John. Our social medias are at the bottom. Give us a follow, Sports4U's podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and X. You can follow me, like I said, at the ticker, money_ice on Instagram and X. And we will be back next week. Same time, same channel. And more likely, we're probably not going to have time to do a preview for Wrestle Dream, but we will be here next Wednesday to recap Wrestle Dream. And I know they're going to have about 15 matches, so that alone is going to take us a long time to get through. That's why I said we're not going to have time to do a preview because, again, they have about 20 matches on that card, and it's probably going to be another 4-hour show. So,
follow us on X because we will be active during whether we're watching it live or watching the replays. We will be active with our commentary at John Watson 0984 at Miney_Ice. And make sure you subscribe to Sports4U on YouTube. Sports4U YouTube, Wrestling YouTube coming real soon, so stay tuned for that. Shout out again to everyone in the chat, all the other wrestling podcasters like our man Mike D, Wrestling from the 313, March with Mike's man's JT and the crew. Shout out to them. My boy Edgar, Snug Wrestling Podcast, and of course, and our boy Cody from Ballers and Breeze Fantasy Sports Podcast. This is just a great night, great analysis from Trail, and great analysis from you guys. And Trail, I'll give you the final words, and we're gonna go
home. Yeah, just keep on the lookout. We are coming with a new page for YouTube. We just figure some stuff out, so bear with us. We will be having that, and we will again catch y'all next week. I will be on tomorrow for Best in the World podcast with Dale. We will be going over wrestling, the news, rumors, everything that's transpired from Bad Blood to probably Raw and NXT. Maybe we'll see. But catch me tomorrow, Best in the World podcast with Dale, and we will bid y'all a good night, and we will catch y'all later.
4 p.m. Pacific time. Beer and BS Sports Media STWF YouTube. And so y'all want to follow Trail, I'll tweet it out from the Sports4U social media, so y'all can also watch from there. Y'all have a good night, y'all. Peace.
Yeet.
Tig, you crazy.